And here's what you're going to need. Oh, I'm sorry, don't have you push down to where you can see what I'm doing here. Sorry about that. You're going to need a wine glass or any glass, and it has to be glass. I'm just using my little drunken wine glasses. You're going to need a scrap piece of vinyl and Armor Etch. And this Armor Etch is pretty expensive stuff, so, and I just got the small bottle, but it lasts forever, or I think it lasts forever. And I'm just using a piece of scrap vinyl, and this happens to be Oracle 651, and which is also permanent vinyl, but we're not going to have an issue with that whatsoever, because it's not going to be permanent until it actually sets up, and we're going to take care of it real fast, so it's not going to set up at all. And then I have my little wonky drunken wine glass here as well. So what we're going to do is go over into Cricut Design Space, and let me move the camera. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at filming. I'm trying to get better. And I'm just going to open up Design Space. Obviously, we need our Cricut machines too. And I've opened up Design Space. I'm just going to go down and click a new project, or create a new project, I should say. And I guess what I want to do is decide what I want to etch on my glass. And I haven't even thought of anything yet as to what I want to etch. So we got to decide what that might be. So let's go over to Insert Images. Let's see what pops up. Just scrolling down here for a second. You know what? I know exactly what I want to put on here. And I don't want to insert an image. So if you just go back over to your Insert Image tab and click it again, it'll go right back to your mat. I'm just going to insert a shape, and I'm going to insert a heart. A heart is what I want. It's what I'm going to put on my wine glass, because I love wine. And I'm just going to check the size of it right now. And right now it's 2.54 inches. And I'm going to get a ruler real quick, and I'm just going to measure my glass. Okay, 2.5 inches is probably pretty good, and that's what I'm going to go with. But this is at 2.54, so I'm going to go in and change the size to 2.5. And then it has changed it for me. It doesn't matter the size, or I mean the color, or anything of that nature. I'm going to go to my Go screen to cut. I'm going to hit Go. And my Cricut dial is already on Vinyl Plus. That's where I'm going to stay. That's where I need to stay. And I'm going to load my piece of black vinyl onto my mat and cut this out. I've got it loaded on my mat. My mat is loaded into my machine. Today I'm using my Cricut Explorer Air, and I'm just going to hit the go button for it to cut. And I have several Cricut Explorer models. That's the reason I said today I'm using my Cricut Explorer Air. And it has finished. Let's unload it and pull this off the mat. I think you might be able to see the outline of the heart. I'm just going to take a pair of scissors here and cut around it. I'm going to slip my mat under my machine. I'm now going to tell my machine I'm finished, so my Cricut will stop flashing at me. Now let me move my camera here for a minute, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to make anybody dizzy. And what I'm going to do is actually move the heart from here. I don't want this portion. I'm going to save this somewhere because I might want to use it later for something or on something. But this is the portion I want to use on my wine glass. And I forgot to tell you, the supplies that we need is also a piece of transfer tape. So let me pause you for just a minute while I grab my piece of transfer tape. Okay. I have my piece of transfer tape here. I'm going to take the backing off of it. And the transfer tape that I'm using today is just contact paper because I'm out of my Cricut transfer tape, and I actually prefer the Cricut brand. I'm going to take my little scraper here, adhere that to get the vinyl adhered to my transfer tape. And what I'm doing here is trying to peel it from the backing. And actually it can be quite difficult because I'm not worried about the outside piece here. I don't mind to lift it up off my paper, off the backing of the vinyl. There we go. Got it. And now I have it here on my transfer tape. Now what I'm going to do is bring over my wine glass, and I'm going to position my heart on my glass. I'm liking that placement. I'm going to the center first to lay it down, press it down, and then from there I'm going to go out to the sides. And I'm going to take my transfer paper off so I can play with this a little better. And we're going to keep going around. That looks good. I'm not worried about how smooth the vinyl is on the outside edges. I'm only worried about being smooth inside my heart section, because what we're going to glass etch is everything inside of here. That's what we're going to etch. And I want to make sure that's laid down real well, so I'm going to keep pressing and pressing and pressing. It'll make my wine glass really dirty with all my fingerprints. But that's okay, because we're going to wash it real good afterwards anyway to make sure that we don't have any of that etching cream still on our glass, because we certainly can't drink out of it without it being washed and cleaned very well. So let me get my etching cream, and I'm also going to pull in a paintbrush as well, which is an item I forgot to pull in. And let me get that set up and I'll be right back. Okay, I have my paintbrush, my Armor Etch that I'm opening up. Let me brush all of the crusties that came off of it. Ugh, it stinks really bad. And I've got my paintbrush here as well. Here, I'm trying to get you guys in frame here a little better from where I have to work to do this. And I'm going to dip. I shook this up really well too. And you're going to just start painting it on. And you got to make sure all the edges of the vinyl around the design that you want to do is adhered down very, very well. And your Armor Etch will be lumpy. And you just want to keep it with inside your template. And you just keep going around and painting it on and moving it around and the whole 9 yards. This is a chemical reaction, and I don't know the chemistry behind it. I'm not a chemist by any stretch of the imagination. I just know it works, and I love doing this. I'm just going to keep playing around with it for a little bit. Make sure it's all on there real good. Smooth it out and keep playing with it. And then I'll leave it on for 5 to 10 minutes. And I'll just play around with it like this. My hubby and I own a funeral home here in town, and I made glasses, drinking glasses with our logo on them at one point in time, and I was very, very pleased and very happy with the way that it turned out. However, it did take a lot of time and patience to get my vinyl stencil on to where I liked it, but it worked very well. I was so pleased with it. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but my Armor Etch is very lumpy. You see that? That's the way it should be. You want it to be lumpy, but you also want it to be pliable. And what I mean by that is to move around to where I can do all of this. Just keep moving it around and moving it around. So we can get a good etch. I'm just going to clean off my paintbrush back into my jar here, because we can reuse that. You don't want to get this on your skin I don't think it would be good. I'm not 100% sure what it would do, but I don't think it would be good. So with that being said, obviously I've never gotten it on my skin before. But I've seen other people do this, and they wear gloves and take all the precautions, unlike me, who's not doing that. But I've got a very large surface to work with too. If I was doing it on a teeny surface, I would think I would wear gloves as well. I'm just going to keep going over the entire design, just working it out. Keeping it clean. Clean off my paintbrush here. And just make sure you don't get any in any other part of your glass that you're working on, because whatever drops on the other part of your glass, it will etch it. It most certainly will etch it. Okay, I'm going to leave that right like that for a moment, and I'm going to go rinse out my paintbrush so I can use it again, because I don't want that stuff in there. And then if I can get enough light into the sink that I'm getting ready to use, I'll show you how I do that too. Okay, I think the lighting's all right in here. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm sorry if it's not, but I did want to show you. I have my glass here. I'm going to turn my water on, and I'm going to start rinsing it off. And right now it doesn't look like anything has happened. And it won't until you pull your stencil off. Even though I use permanent vinyl, because I didn't allow it to cure for 48 hours, it's not going to be permanent. So I'm going to turn it off, turn my water off. I pulled off my vinyl. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I have a really nice etching of a heart. So let me dry this off. Throw my piece of vinyl away before it gets stuck to my foot and I carry it around the house all day. Let me dry this up. I'm trying to get all the water out of the glass so you can see it. But I'm very impressed with it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but look how well it etched. So let me take you guys back into my craft office and we'll show you what it. Okay, I can see it very well. I'm not 100% sure if you guys can see it well enough, but those little spots are just water that's still on there. But I hope you can see how well it came out. It was very, very good. I may have left the etching cream on there a total of 6 or 7 minutes, and you saw me do the majority of it by just moving it around. So, have you guys tried glass etching yet? Have you done it? Do you love it? Is it an addiction of yours too? I think it's I think it's fantastic, and I love doing it. And I hope you guys give it a try too. So thanks. Have a great day. Cheers.